Hi guys, today's the 18th of September 2019 at 56 minutes past 5 in the evening over here in the UK. Helen McClay on my channel has asked me, have I seen the Rugby ITV advert for the World Cup in Tokyo for this Friday? I might see something in that symbolism wise. It looks like a person running away, really frightened with a storm chasing. So I looked up the video and I was very interested, especially from the 27th second, and obviously I got the 27th on watch. Prior to that is the 21st, but also the 27th on watch for a number of things, including an earthquake, which I just talked about in the last video, in association with the Heliofont title and the 9.0 NFL anagram that's in there. 9.0 being a possible reference to the magnitude of earthquake, which is pretty much something I've been saying for the longest time. In this video, first thing you'll notice, the coffee cup shaking, Jurassic Park style, giving us a sense of earth vibrations. Then we've got all this static on screen, which has something to do with electricity. Maybe the major earthquake has affected the electricity in some way. That's another interpretation that we've got from the iPet Goat 2 video. Right there, you see the explosion happening during a rugby match. Rugby over here is American football, basically. So I'm not sure if that definitely means over here in a rugby match, maybe during the Rugby World Cup over here, or just connecting us with, you know, the American version of rugby, which would be American football, and that would have association with the NFL, which would connect more closely with the 9.0 magnitude earthquake interpretation from the iPet Goat 2 video posted in the last video on my channel. Then it moves on to a Chinese woman, Chinese book, star and panda. So there's something associated with China during this time. I'm not sure if that's including Taiwan and Hong Kong, or whether there's a more major world conflict involving China going on around that time, or some sort of de-escalation, maybe in association with the Taiwan Straits or the South China Sea. In this scene, this is the scene that Helen was talking about, where we have a person running away from a storm looking really frightened. What I see here is this large shadow and the sweat bead, being a makeup of, you know, H2O, mostly water, gives me a connection to a tsunami. The shadow coming up is often something I've seen in movies that deal with tsunamis coming in, and there's always this large shadow as the tsunami approaches the coast and rises up to that monstrous height that everyone usually fears along the coast before it sweeps inland. I get that connection from the shadow, the expression on the face, and also the sweat bead being a reference to water. After that, as she starts to run away, we see some people with red eyes emerging from the smoke or the water here, and I think that gives us another connection to an attack coming during a tsunami. Now that may be an association with submarines. I don't see sharks or submarines in this video to give me that reference, but I'm just taking that from the iPet Goat 2 video. The other connection obviously may be an association with China, as the image we've seen before this particular frame, or before this particular scene starts to unfold, is the Chinese girl in bed with the star and the panda in the book with the Chinese writing. So maybe it's China coming forward during the tsunami or something like that. The other reference I get from this smoke is pyroclastic flow, which is from volcanic eruptions. Now I've got a lot of volcanoes on watch, not really a lot, there's much more in the world than I've got on watch, so 5 volcanoes I have on watch. One in particular is really drawing my attention at the moment, which is Mount Etna. Stromboli is also another volcano in that region I've got on watch, but Mount Etna has been reported to be very active at the moment, and the eruptions are getting stronger and stronger, and they're referring to the eruptions as Strombolian eruptions. So I'm thinking maybe the part of the iPet Goat 2 video where I've interpreted the word Stromboli from is actually a reference to Strombolian eruptions coming from Mount Etna, and that could be the volcano that we're looking out for in that region to erupt and collapse and cause the tsunami in that region. Obviously Kilauea is in the other region, and that's still on watch. Very significant. I think we've also got a reference to the beast. If the shadow and the sweat bead gives us a reference to tsunami, and then we have an attack coming either during or like immediately after the tsunami, that attack may be a biblical reference to the beast from the sea emerging, and that, you know, coming forward, in which case we're in, revelation kind of times. That may all occur at nighttime. I'm getting this reference here from the sleeping child, and he's completely covered from head to toe with the blanket, duvet, cover, whatever you want to call it. And in my mind, that evolving from the scene before, where it may be a connection to a tsunami coming forward, may suggest a tsunami coming at night while people are sleeping. Even this girl in this scene is sleeping while the lights are flashing on and off. Again, that gives us a reference to some disruption with electricity, which again was playing in the scene before. So with this video, it all seems to be linking events. From what I can see, from the 27th second, we're dealing with an earthquake, which either has a direct effect on the electricity or something else affects the electricity, maybe the earthquake. Connecting that with my iPet Goat 2 and Simpsons translation would be nuclear meltdown. And obviously nuclear power plants are connected to electricity, so if the nuclear power plants are melting down because of an earthquake, then that may affect the electricity. I'm not exactly sure when during that time an explosion or something may occur during an NFL match, but again, that may just be symbolic of things going haywire during the match and not actually something occurring at that match. It could be everyone's watching the NFL match on, the 27th, and then suddenly there's an earthquake and the TV cuts out or starts to fritz, and people are, kind of wondering what's going on. News starts reporting 9.0 magnitude earthquake, possible nuclear meltdown, state of emergency declared, maybe national emergency, depending on, the severity of it all. And then maybe later, it really would depend on where the earthquake was, because if it wasn't close to the coast, then I wouldn't expect a tsunami to come several hours later, unless it was, purposefully created by some sort of nuclear device or devices. If that's not the case, then the earthquake would have to occur quite a distance away, in which case it may be stronger than a magnitude 9 if it's registering in the United States as a magnitude 9. Either way, looks like a tsunami comes in during the night time, and either during that tsunami or immediately after, there's something to do with aggression, to do with, to me it's just all war, very warlike images I'm seeing here. The red eyes, big chest coming forward, all of that, it's very warlike. So that's my interpretation. Earthquake, electricity, some event at or during a football or rugby match, whether that's American or the United States or both. I have looked at those interpretations of both places being affected at the same time during a football match, UK and the United States. Following that, a tsunami of some kind, and then war, some form of attack associated with a beast from the sea. That's all I've got for you guys. Again, thank you to Helen for just, raising the question. You were correct. I do see a lot of symbolism in it, and it does seem like it connects to interpretations from the iPet Goat 2 video, as well as possible interpretations from The Simpsons as well. In terms of date, I can never be sure, but I see some connections and I point them out just so that people are aware that there's the possibility of things potentially happening on that day, so as not to be caught by surprise. But I always hope that none of it happens, and I always pray that none of it happens. I do worry on my watch days that things are going to happen, and I'm always so grateful when the day ends and it hasn't. The 15th was particularly worrisome, obviously, because I saw things starting to unfold and I thought they might go all the way, and I'm glad that they didn't. But again, we can't be complacent, because it's just another step towards their ultimate goals and what they want to do. and obviously doing it piece by piece is kind of similar to, you know, the frog in the pot of boiling water. If you chuck him in there when it's boiling, he's gonna jump back out. My apologies once again, it cut out on me, as I was saying. But if you slowly increase the temperature over time, then the frog won't even notice that he's being boiled. And I feel like that's the situation, that's the kind of thing couldn't find the word, that they're trying to do with us, you know, the general public. It's just bit by bit by bit by bit until you don't even notice that you're boiling. But we're gonna notice because we're paying attention. You guys have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and may the Heavenly Father bless you.